Hello and welcome to the Down to Finance podcast in Australia with Future Finance Group. My name is Amy and I am the host today, and we are joined with our senior mortgage broker Brendan Fredericks, and we have Patricia joining us from PCA, Property Consulting Australia. Thank you for joining us. Today, Patricia is going to talk about all things investing, which to our audience might sound familiar. You might have heard of the term investing before. Patricia's really here to help educate you, whether you're a first-time investor or a client that has multiple investment properties, and teach us about what services her business provide. Thank you, Patricia. Let's go back to the good old days about when you purchased your first investment property.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me on your podcast today. My first investment property, wow, that's going back. So I bought my first property when I was 23, and it's really interesting. I was very lucky that I had some good recommendation on buying an investment property. Mm-hmm. We were currently living in Williamstown in Melbourne at the time, and I certainly couldn't afford to buy there.
Yes.
So we were renting, and I got my borrowing capacity, and so someone said, just buy an investment property because it's going to grow in value, and you've got rental income to cover the mortgage.
You were actually a rentvestor, like a first-time buyer, but purchasing an investment property.
Yes, I was.
Wow.
And it was so good because we had so much freedom. Like, we were just out of uni, starting to earn some money. My husband and I, we lived in Canada for a year. So we were just still, not sure where we wanted to live. But yeah, it was great to get an investment property and having most of the cost covered by the rental income.
Fantastic. So you've really gone through all the journey.
Yep.
How old were you when you bought your first investment property, Fredo?
Oh, probably 23, 24.
23, 24?
Well.
Wow. Yeah. So we've got some young starters. I guess, to our audience, there's no age limit with investing. Like, I think that could possibly be a little bit of a myth. You can definitely be a rentvestor, so you can be still living with family and buy an investment property, or you can be renting or share house and buy your first investment property, which is really exciting. So might touch on PCA's philosophy in terms of investing, and obviously what your client first approach is.
Yeah, thank you. It's we've been running Property Consulting Australia for 10 years now, and it's just our philosophy is if you help someone invest in good quality property, there's accidental investment properties and then there's high quality investment properties. Mm-hmm. And when you help clients find the right property, it enables them to build their wealth, grow a portfolio and achieve their wealth goals, whether that's paying down their home loan, in less than 30 years, which, the banks love, paying off that debt early, or growing their wealth for the future and retirement, and really giving them some choices. So we've had, clients that have invested for the long term, but, life happens and they have to sell their property, which helps, sell their investment property, which helps pay down their home loan, and it gives them so much freedom. Mm-hmm. And now they're buying more investment properties to grow their wealth for the future. So they can go through different phases of investing depending on what stage of their life they're at.
So let's just go back to basics, just so our audience really understand what you do. So you take, I guess, the emotional stress out of the scenario of purchasing an investment property. So clients outsource to you to find what you feel is the most, affordable and, good investment for that particular client profile.
Yeah, so with PCA, we offer new clients a 40-minute consult on Zoom to really explore their goals, their borrowing capacity, their cash flow, lifestyle, so that we can really tailor a solution to help them go from where they are now to where they want to be financially. And then we research Australia-wide to find properties that fit their strategy.
Fantastic. And there are different investment strategies. And that can be clients that are looking for a more cash flow positive property, which obviously Brendan and I always joke about. You know, obviously in Melbourne, it's a really difficult thing to find an investment property with maybe more than a 3% return. And then obviously there's other areas like, you know, Queensland that obviously have a really higher rental yield and so forth. So there's a lot that gets taken into account when you profile a client for what property really suits them. So it's like capital growth or, you know, rental income, or that there's so many different strategies, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different ways to invest. So finding the right property or the best performing property to fit the individual customized client strategy is so important.
And from that, I guess, initial 40-minute Zoom that you have with a client, what does the initial consultation to like a property acquisition and then obviously beyond, like what does that journey look like for the client?
Yeah, often I'm working with mortgage brokers like yourself,
Yes.
and a client is interested in buying an investment property but doesn't have the time or knowledge to know where to research and what to buy. So that process from the initial discovery, when we have a borrowing capacity, it can be, you know, as little as 2 to 3 weeks to find the right property. Our
Wow,
team,
that's so fast.
yeah,
Very quick.
That's very quick.
yeah, that's one extreme. If clients are ready to go and want to, you know, jump on something sooner rather than later, and this is usually when clients have been sitting on a pre-approval for maybe, you know, 3-6 months and are really stalled because there's just so much choice and they don't want to make the wrong decision. We can help them with that strategy quite quickly. We're constantly doing stock trips. So we've had our acquisitions manager is based in Brisbane. You know, we went 6 times over to Perth, obviously a lot in Queensland over the last 5 years, South Australia, and more recently Victoria. So we're constantly looking for the next, you know, best stock. But sometimes we're working with clients for 3, 6, 12 months, depending on their cash flow and situation. And
so we can rate cuts, maybe.
They're on the way.
So we can work at the pace of the client.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. And so I just want to like reinforce that obviously PCA look at properties all over Australia. I think that's something to really take away for our audience is that when you are a rentvestor, you don't have to buy in the state that you're living in. I think a lot of people think, oh, just because I'm Melbourne based, I should buy my property in Melbourne, or if I'm, you know, Brisbane based, this is where I should invest. And I think sometimes by outsourcing that advice piece to a third party expert like yourself, it's a really good to get an understanding of all the other states and what's happening with their markets.
Yeah, absolutely, because the market is constantly changing. You know, as we know, property is cyclic.
Yes.
You don't want to buy at the top of the market because then you're waiting a long time for that capital growth. But if you buy in a growth market, and it's because it's constantly changing, that's why we're, you know, always looking at the data and actually going to the locations and inspecting them ourselves.
That's right. And you mentioned, or you said a term before that I really like, accidental investors. And I guess it's one of those things where someone might accidentally invest and then they quickly become an expert. And I like to sportify this, like, you know, teams only sing when they're winning. So if we take that aside, how do you actually find a golden nugget property?
Yeah, great question. So once we have all the client criteria, their budget and borrowing capacity and goals, we literally go and find the best performing property. So we're looking for, you know, on a macro level, infrastructure, where the government are spending money, where are the new schools, new train stations, new shopping centres, things like that, that is going to really drive growth. We also look at supply and demand. Where is it, you know, over saturated with investors? Because we're more boutique, we like to focus on, you know, quality over quantity. So that allows us to sort of handpick the best stock. And then when we're getting down to the micro level, it's going to the estates themselves. Like last week, across 3 days, we went to 28 estates, and just driving through the estates, you know, the width of the roads and the aspect and the nice
little 1%ers.
All those 1%ers, and you drive through and it's literally, you know, out of 28 estates, there's only 4 that we would recommend.
Yeah, wow.
So it's about where not to invest. And yes, accidental investors, a lot of people who come through and it's like, oh, I've got a property. I'm like, oh, how did you buy that? Well, I lived in it first and then I moved out and it turned into a rental.
Yeah.
So it was purchased emotionally because they wanted to live there, and then all of a sudden it's investment property where it's not really achieving the yield and the capital growth that you want to achieve when you're investing in property.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think one of the important aspects of obviously the property is that you do research come with tax benefits and depreciation and things like that. So do you want to just explain to our audience what that looks like in terms of when you give your advice piece to them about what it's truly going to cost them and so forth?
Yeah, great question. So as part of the strategy, we do a full property investment analysis, which shows not just the cost of the property, but all the upfront costs, including stamp duty and government fees and charges and defect inspections, all those extra costs.
Yep.
Once the property's tenanted, it shows you the cash flow of the property with rent, not just repayments, but insurance and property management fees, and then depreciation. So a lot of the areas that we're researching, there's new land, we're securing that land and then building a house. So that house, while the land appreciates, you can depreciate the build, and that makes a big difference on the client's cash flow, getting a lot of that
new
tax back
because
it's new. And
just reaching into your accounting degree side now, aren't we, Patricia?
Oh yeah, I love it. Always get advice off your tax man as well. But yeah, to be able to depreciate it as well as have the appreciation of the land just really helps with that cash flow and holding it. And I caught up with a client, just last night, and they bought their property for just over $500,000, 3 years ago, and now it's worth $850,000. So they've had a lot of capital growth, but they've been able to depreciate it through tax, those last 3 to 4 years. So is that really nice benefit of growing a wealth, getting some tax benefit, and managing the cash flow for that long-term
wealth. Sounds like
wealth.
you found a property that has the best of both worlds to me.
We love that.
Which I think is a really difficult thing in our industry, is really trying to hone in and find that investment property that has the best of both worlds, and if you are a one-man band and it's the first time you're doing it, and you're, chatting to Jim at the local footy club, and Jim's, purchased his investment property in 1991, things have probably significantly changed.
Just a little.
Oh, yeah.
So I think obviously in today's day and age, it's so important that if you are looking at buying an investment property or starting an investment portfolio using a service like yourself, which outsources to get the best, value for money, not to mention all the other post-settlement benefits such as tax and support from yourself. So maybe go into the journey of when a client does settle on that investment property. What support do you give to these clients?
Yeah, great question. So when you're investing with PCA, you've got a whole team around you supporting you. So, coming back to our philosophy, if we help clients into a quality property and it's really easy for them, they're going to be in a position to buy another one and grow their portfolio.
Yep.
And 2, being able to, recommend us to their family and friends, and we're 90% repeat and referral. So,
sorry, could you just say that again?
Oh, we're 90% repeat and referral.
Yeah, amazing.
So our philosophy is just, to get good quality investments and make it really easy for our investors. And the way we do that is, we help clients with contracts that are all subject to finance, and we work closely with the mortgage broker to get finance approval. Then we work with the conveyancer and help with settlement. And then through construction, we'll work with the builder and give the clients updates every fortnight with photos and progress payments, and really support the client right throughout to the end, where we're looking at insurances, defect inspection, depreciation schedules to get those tax benefits, and introducing them to property managers. So we really take them from, A to Z and support them all the way through, so they don't have to think about anything. We let them know when they need to action anything, so that the clients feel super supported, and it's really easy right throughout. And we've got an amazing operations manager who provides all those updates. Nicole bought 3 properties with Property Consulting Australia before she worked with us, and now she's
so she really puts her money where her mouth is, I would say, with that one.
Yeah, and she's experienced the client journey, and now
Yep.
she's come in and she's, added so much value, and she provides so much more support than we used to, because she's felt it as a client first.
Yep.
And now she's got all the information to make clients feel really comfortable and supported through that journey, because it's a big decision. You buy your house is a big decision, and
Yep.
investment property is another big decision. So having that support is really important for our clients.
And I'd say you'd take away a lot of the paralysis by analysis, because, we've got some clients looking to buy their first investment property, and that takes them a long time, which is probably shouldn't take as long as that, because it's not an emotional purchase. So would that be one of the most common mistakes you see for first-time investors, just overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And you offer that hold your hand service?
Yeah, absolutely. There is so much choice out there. So to be able
And
to...
so much on social media coming through, like obviously I own property and, Facebook's listening. So that's all I get through my feed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even when I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
But there's so much advice out there.
Yeah, you can get a 20-minute advice session on TikTok, can't
Yeah.
you?
Absolutely. AI can tell you where the next best growth area, but it is like that. There are so many, smaller, there's a lot of research involved, but we do all that hard stuff and deliver you the top options so that the choice becomes much clearer. And you're going in with all the education as well. You've got all the information you need to make a really confident decision, because paralysis happens because you don't have the information and you don't know and you don't even know what to ask or look for. And the hidden costs and fees, and there's a big wide world of property out there, and not every bit of advice is applicable to your unique circumstances. And that's why the discovery and the strategy is so important. So it really helps to narrow down the choices and keep it really simple.
Yeah, it's like that custom action plan for that client. I think one thing that I really loved, going back to what you were saying, is that Patricia and her team, they're like the ones on the ground driving through the estates, that are actually, being aware of how wide the roads are, what playgrounds are going to be put in, what, schools are going in and things like that. You're actually doing the man hours behind the scenes, which I think probably not everybody would do.
Yes, and our clients can have their weekends to enjoy it with their family and their kids and do whatever they want to do on the weekends, and not running from auction to auction.
A lot of you get a lot of time back in your day or week or month.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And some of the results we've seen from our clients that have gone through PCA, incredible over the last 3 to 5 years, because we get included on the annual investment review, and some of the uplift is incredible. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the results?
Yeah, thank you. We're really proud to say that, the research does pay off. We all know Queensland's had some significant capital growth through, the COVID years. And the national average of capital growth over the last 25 years is 6.4% per annum. We're really proud to say that in the last, 8-9 years, from purchase price to what they're valued at now, our clients have enjoyed 14.8% average growth per annum.
That's amazing. I just give a little clap for that, because that's a success story right there.
We love that, yeah. And Perth, we've just come back off the back of, and Perth went up overall, but our clients achieved, I think the minimum was 25% growth in 18 months, and the best property was around that 43% growth in 18 months. So really significant,
And just a couple of success stories of my clients who have been first-time investors, quite young clients, in their early 30s, and, purchased their first investment property through PCA, and due to circumstances have had to sell within 3 years. So not every investment property is going to be long-term, because you can sometimes have unforeseeable circumstances pop up. But I know with my clients, they've made, after capital gains tax, $150,000 in net sale proceeds, and that money's really helped them to be able to, build a future for their young family, whether it's school fees or university or a new family car. It's just significantly helped. And then hopefully they'll be in a position in, the next 3 or 5 years to do it all over again. So I think, whether it's short or long or whatever, the success that you've had is really proven to be valuable to our young families and our investors.
Yeah, and investing in property really is about choice. It gives you freedom when you're creating that wealth, and then it's choice to keep it long term for wealth, and retirement, or sell it short term to pay down your home loan debt or give yourself some freedom. And you're right, Amy, life happens. So to be able to just sell off an asset when you need that cash injection. Yeah, I've had so many clients go through life-changing things, and you don't know what life's going to throw at you, but to be able to, sell off one of your properties to free up some cash, it's actually really cool. And not have to wait till retirement. I've got this gorgeous couple who I helped in their late 40s, and they were expecting to retire in their 60s. And with the 2 or 3 properties they bought through PCA, they were able to sell them all off in their mid 50s, pay off all their debt, and have extra money that meant that they could retire early and enjoy their life and freedom.
Literally
so it's not about
life-changing.
Yeah.
Life-changing significantly.
Which is
amazing.
So rewarding.
And I guess, with the stress of everyday life, being able to retire, even 5 years earlier than what you anticipated is an amazing achievement, really. 5 years is a long time.
Yes, please.
And I guess, obviously, just to touch on with our audience, how would clients get started with you? So obviously for our listeners wanting to explore PCA a little bit further, where would you direct them to start?
Yeah, a great start is our website. They can learn a little bit more about who we are and what we do. And from the website, you can do what's called a retirement wealth calculator, which is just a really, quick 5-minute tool to kind of check in on how you're progressing with your wealth
jumping
creation.
On that straight after this.
And that provides a report. And then from there, there's also another link where you can book a 15-minute call with myself. And then from there, we can book a discovery based on their time frame. So super easy.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. Thanks, Brendan, for sitting in on this podcast. I hope our audience got a lot out of what Patricia has to say. And obviously, we're just giving general advice. So if anybody is after custom tailored advice, we always recommend to reach out to us at Future Finance Group, and we can provide you with a borrowing capacity and then complete an introduction to Patricia and her team for a further customized plan. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to the next podcast. Thank you. Just remember to keep in mind, these podcasts are just general advice. And if you are after something more customized, reach out to your financial advisor, or you can reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help.